Okay, hello all. So in this video we will be seeing how we can download, set up and write a simple test to invoke an mobile app by using CSAP and the Appium tool. So before we had already seen how to execute the Appium with Java. I can give you the blog into the description below so that you can refer, but today we are going to see a live demo of how we can execute the Appium test in C# by using Visual Studio. Okay, so let's get started. So as you can see, the Visual Studio editor has a feature which is called as unit testing. So you can use the unit testing feature of the Visual Studio. So we will be using the unit testing, that is nothing but our any unit. Like in Java we have JUnit or TestNG. The same way for the Visual Studio or for the C# we have any unit. It's pretty similar, but just the way they are setting it up is quite different than your Java with Appium. Okay, so as you can see, if you have already Visual Studio, then you can just open. If you don't have anything, you can just download the Visual Studio. They have community, that is free of cost. Then you have professional and enterprise, that is these two are paid versions. Okay, but I think pretty similar in terms of the unit testing. The community edition offers the unit testing. Okay, so you can try with the community edition if you don't have a paid version. Okay, so I have the professional version with me. Okay, so I will tell you. So now by this time I hope that you all downloaded your Visual Studio and you are ready to code it. So as soon as you open your Visual Studio for the first time, you might be getting create a new project, because I have already created a new project, so that's why that option is not appearing for me. But for you it will be like a create a new project. It's a brand fresh what you call Visual Studio. Okay, so once you downloaded your Visual Studio and opened, you can see that so you can do file, new project. Okay, and then you can just save it under your any kind of what you call in your local drive. You can set it up and make sure that you should select your project as class library, because when you create a new project, they will have so many versions of the Visual C#, that is Windows Forms applications, then you have console application, you have ASP.NET web application for website development. So you can select just the class library, okay, the default one. Then you can name it, like in this case I have given Appium C test. Okay, and you can save under any of the location as you wish. Okay, and then click on OK. So once you click on OK, the solution explorer will look like this on your right hand side. Okay, you can see the project name. Under that, few properties that we are not worrying for time being. References, like so this is like if you already used your Eclipse, then there's something you will call it as a library, or the jar files you will be referring to your project. The same way, these are the DLL files. So in case of Java it is jar file, in case of .NET it is, or C#, it will be DLLs. Okay, so these are the default DLLs that will appear once you create a new project, but we will see how we can download the Appium related DLL files and then refer to this particular project. Okay, so you will get something class 1.cs. So in Java it is .java file, in C# it will be .cs file. Okay, you can rename anytime you want. Okay, so let's just rename and say that TC1. Okay, okay, so it is asking that do you want to change with all references. I will say yes, so that the class 1 will be changed to TG1. Okay, So that's all. What do you call, you can create your class. Okay, it's very simple. But to run your Appium test, this wouldn't be sufficient to run your test. Okay, you need to download certain what you call plugins and the NuGet packages. So like if you have used in your Java, Selenium with Java, or else if you have ever experienced with Java unit testing, you will get some kind of called as Maven build. The same thing we have for C#, it is NuGet packages. Okay, so we'll see how we can download the Appium related packages into this particular project. Okay, so just select on this solution. Okay, the solution is nothing but your project. So whatever the project name you created, with the same name you will get that project name .sln, that is nothing but your solution. Okay, so right click on that solution and you will get something called as manage NuGet packages for this particular solution. Okay, so now I clicked, so you will get something like this window, and just say browse, and here you have to download the Appium related packages. Okay, so I will install Selenium first thing, because Appium is built on top of Selenium, right? So let me just click on this, and here you will see, so it will ask you if for this project you want to do yes for this, and if you scroll down you can see the latest version is 3.11.0. so in Java, how you used Maven dependencies, the same thing. So here you need not to have any kind of external file kind of XML or something. You can just right click on this solution and you can install the NuGet packages. This NuGet package will browse to the latest version of the Selenium. Okay, so just say install. It will take some time to download your packages. Just say yes or okay. So it is adding few packages to your solution. It says finished. Okay, so we have successfully installed Selenium to our project. Now let's install the NUnit. Okay, because we are going to use NUnit, like in Java we have used testng or JUnit. Okay, so let's say install and click on OK. Okay, so you have your NUnit installed. Now the next thing is your Appium. Okay, so you can see Appium WebDriver for this project. Yes, then click on install. So as soon as you will be keep on installing the NuGet packages, you will see the references. Okay, so if you would have seen in the beginning time, you will have you had few of the options, that is the system related DLL files. But see, now you have NUnit framework, you have WebDriver, now you will get your Appium related. So as soon as you will download your packages, it will be automatically referring the specific DLLs to that NuGet package. Okay, so what does it say? The file is unsaved. Okay, just don't. Okay, so it's doing some process, and once it is finished, then we will be downloading another package. Okay, so it's finished. So I have closed that window, so again open manage NuGet package. Okay, so far we have installed NUnit, Selenium and Appium. Okay, so there is something called as, so far we have used installed Selenium, your Appium and NUnit. Okay, now at this time we will be using NUnit test runner. Okay, so let me just scroll down to see if there is any test runner. Okay, so test adapter, so you need to install this test adapter. I will let you know what is the benefit of this. Okay, So just install one by one as I am showing here, and then click on OK. Okay, I hope that much is sufficient to install. So let's see if it is installed. I think it's it. Yes, so it is finished. Okay, so now we are good to go to write the test case. Okay, so so we have installed all the required packages under this, and we have created one test case file, that is .cs file. Okay, so how NUnit works, so as your test ng or JUnit in Java, NUnit will start with a setup, and then it will go to your test case, and then it will go to your tear down. So what I am mean to say, whenever you write a test, there is something you need to do before your test should run, and once the test is run, then you have to do something after the test is run, right? So the same thing NUnit also giving you a way to execute that. Okay, so let me start with from the beginning. Okay, so now what I am going to do here, I'll create one method, that is, I will say it as a init driver. So public void, because I'm not returning anything, and I'm saying initialization. So this is basically I said, right, before your test is running you need to do something. So that is nothing but initializing your Appium driver or your Selenium WebDriver if you are using only Selenium. Okay, so far whatever we have done, you can do the same setup for the Selenium also. Because we are using Appium, so we have to install one more package, that is Appium driver. Okay, so to initialize the driver, we have to we have to create an object of the driver. So let me quickly go to Android driver. Okay, now it is giving me an error because I have to define what is Android driver. So that is coming from my OpenQA Selenium Appium Android package. Okay, so as you would have seen in Java, you have import package, right? The same thing in C# it is using, but still I'm getting another error. Okay, so it is telling that we have to give the type. Okay, so it should be Android element, and the error should go yes. And then see the Appium, how the Appium is identifying your mobile app, that is depending on certain capabilities. So if you would have worked on the Selenium Grid, you have to give certain capabilities like your platform, which browser you want to run, then what else, a platform, your version, your browser version. So depending on your capabilities, the Selenium will run that particular test on a particular device depending on your capabilities. So the same thing here also, we need to say in which platform, that is whether it is Android or iOS, or which kind of app I need to run, if it is on a real device or on a emulator, I need to mention everything. So for that I need to create an object of the capabilities. Okay, so let me create one desired capabilities, cap, and the same thing I have to yes, and then okay, I can copy from here to here so that I need not to type every time. Okay, so now initialization of the driver. Now what we need to do, so we need to first inform the capabilities of that particular what you call the device or the emulator that we want to run. Okay, so now cap equal to, I'm just declaring the capabilities. Okay, so desired capabilities, and then cap dot, so I will get some options in that I am interested in on set capability. Okay, in that, first thing first, I need to give the platform name. Okay, platform name, that should be on Android. Okay, because I am using Windows operating system, so I can only automate the Android application. If you are using Macintosh, then you can use the sorry emulator or a real device on Android, and on iOS both you can connect to the Macintosh operating system. So the second thing would be my device name, that will be the on the emulator all the real device name that you are using for running your automation test. It's a long name, so let me just copy it here. Okay, so I'll show you the device name, and I'm actually running it on a emulator. Okay, so capabilities dot set capability. So these are the two things that is related to your Android device. Okay, and the next thing we need to define the application that we want to run the Appium test. For that I need to use one capability key, that is my Appium app package, and I will copy paste again the same thing. So cap dot set capability, this will be my, okay, I have these two things, so let me just copy paste to save time. So here, so I'm going to run this Appium test on a dialer. Okay, yeah, your Android dialer, where you are dialing the what do you call, the numbers to call somebody. Okay, and that's it. Okay, and how do you know about this app package and app activity? You can just install one app that is called as APK info. You can double click on this and you can just open dialer, and maybe not dialer, it should be phone. Okay, so here long press on that option, go to detailed option, and then here and scroll down to see the activity. Here you can see com.android.dialer. So up to your dialer it will be app package, and then dialer tags activity is your app activity name. Okay, so like that you can get to know any of the applications app package and app activity. Okay, so now we are good with the application and the device that we are going to run the Appium test. Okay, now the second thing, we need to instantiate the driver here. Okay, so for this I am going to write new Android driver. Okay, so Android driver, and then it's not Android element, I can use Android Appium web element, it's not coming. Okay, so let's go with the Android element only, not an issue, and then bracket new, and then here you have to give URI. Okay, so URI, then it will accept a parameter that is nothing but your localhost IP address. So http://127.0.1, and it should be running on port 24723. If you are running on your local host, if you are running on any other remote machine, then you have to give the remote host IP address and the port that you are going to use, then wd-hub. Okay, and then your capabilities. Okay, so that's all for this. Let's see if any errors. Okay, there are no errors. So now this init driver we want to run before our test case executed. Okay, so for that any unit giving an option that is called as setup. Okay, so it's giving me error, so let me just resolve this. So here this is a NUnit framework, right? So when I say setup, then what it does, it will execute before any of your test is executed. Now what is again a test? So let me write the actual test that I'm going to run actually. Okay, because this is whatever we have seen so far is all related to your initialization or the prior running your test. So for this there is a keyword called as a test. Okay, so here now what will happen, the test will be executed after your setup will be executed. Okay, so that's the concept behind that. Now once we run that particular test case, the second thing we need to do is tear down. Okay, I'll tell you what is tear down. So before to that, let me just write close driver, let's say. Okay, there we have initialized driver, here we are closing the driver. Okay, fine. So how the execution flow? Initially it will execute your setup, so whatever the method that is under your setup, that will run first, then your public void test, because it is my test tag is there, and then once the test tag is completed, the test one method, it will go to the tear down. Okay, it's the same flow it has to execute every time. Now, so I have mentioned all the desired capabilities, then I have invoked initialized the driver. Now I have to write some test case. So for now I am not going to write any kind of activity or any kind of functionality, but I will short it if dot is not, let's see, okay, I'm just going to check if the driver is not null. Okay, so and then I will wait for some time. So system dot threading dot thread dot slip, I'm going to give 2 seconds, it's in millisecond I'm giving. Okay, so and then this thing here, I have to close this or quit, whatever way you prefer. Okay, okay, so my test is ready now. So let's just recap everything. So what we did, we have downloaded the Visual Studio, and then we have created a new project, and then we have gone into the solution, manage NuGet packages, and we have installed Selenium, Appium, Nunit, and Nunit test adapter. Okay, so once we installed all the related files, then we created 3 methods. Okay, one is my init driver, which will initialize the driver by giving all the required desired capabilities. Okay, and then it initialized your driver. Okay, and the second thing, your test case or the actual test that is under test tag. Okay, so what it will do, once it will go into this particular thing, it will invoke your application. First thing it will do, like driver equal to new Firefox driver, what it is doing in your Selenium, it will invoke a blank what you call, or an empty browser. The same thing, it will invoke the application, but not an empty, but the application that you mentioned, your app package and app activity. Okay, so as soon as this control will go to this particular driver instance, it will open your application, and then it will check if the driver is already having an instance or not. Then it will wait for 2 seconds, and then once your test is executed, it will go to the tear down, that is nothing but your driver.quit. So it will close your driver, it will close your application, and it will assign null to your driver. Okay, so that's all it will do. So let's see it in action. Okay, so for this, what I'm going to do, I have to go to test windows and test explorer. Okay, so here as you can see, now how do I run it? So there is one way. If you are running one test case, then you can just right click on this panel and you can say debug test. It means that it will run only this particular test, but this is only for demo purpose I am showing. But in real time you will get a number of test cases, right? So in that case, how you are going to run those test cases? Okay, so for that we have installed one NuGet package, that is Nunit 3 test adapter, right? So that will help you to detect all your test cases that is under your test tag, irrespective of number of CS files you have, number of test tags you have, everything will display here. Okay, so now let's build this. So every time you are writing anything on your Visual Studio, you have to rebuild, then only it will take the latest changes whatever you have done. Okay, so it's saying so 1 succeeded, it means it has taken everything, and 0 failed, that means I don't have any error and nothing got skipped out. Okay, so now as you can see here, it's processing something to gather all your test names. Okay, so once this processing is done, see, as you can see here, so I have only one method that is under test tag, right? So you are getting that. Okay, now how do you run this? Either you can select this test, you can run selected test, or else directly you can say run all if you have multiple number of test cases. Okay, so now this is about your coding part. Now let's go into the emulator, because I'm running on an emulator, that is I'm using Genymotion. Okay, you can just create your account, it's a personal use, it's free. Okay, and I'm going to run on this emulator your phone app. Okay, Android phone app. So once I run this, I will put it parallelly so that you can see. So I'm doing run all. So you can see there the output says that run test started. Okay, let me see what is the error. Okay, so as you can see, I have missed one point here, that is I didn't run my Appium server. Okay, for that you have to download the Appium desktop or Appium GUI part, that I can give you the link into the description below, so that you can download that, or I have another dedicated video for how you can set up your Appium desktop on your Windows machine. Okay, so you have to go to and start your server. So once you click on that, it is saying that the Appium server is running. Okay, now you are good to go. Now here my test got failed because the Appium server is not yet running. Okay, now let's try it and put this side by side. So it's saying that run test started, and it found one unit test case, because I have only one test method that is under test tag. And it should pop up your so it popped up your application, that is my dialer app, and it waited for 2 seconds and then it closed, because in the tear down I have mentioned driver.quit. Okay, and here you can see the test got passed, and the elapsed time is 25 seconds. So within 25 seconds it opened the app and then it closed away. So that's all about how you can run your Appium test on the emulator by turning on your Appium server, and you can write as many as test cases you can by either you can create a new test under here. So here you can create another one, let's say test 2, and why it is test, I should have test 2. Okay, here you can mention the test tag. Okay, so here I'm not doing anything, but as soon as you do a rebuild solution, here you will see 2 test methods. Okay, test 1 and test 2, because test 1 is already run. So either you can run here, or else you can say run all, or else you can even create another CS file by going to here, add, and then new item, and then you have to select the class. Here you can create another one, so tc11, let's say that. Okay, so you can create a number of test cases you can. So either in one test case file you can have number of test files, or else number of CS file you can have. So the normal practice is that in each CS file there should be one test case. Okay, because the concept behind your framework is that each test has to be independent. It means that each test will be one file, and it should include opening your application, running the test, and then close the browser, so that you should not have dependencies on different CS files. Okay, So that's it about your Appium tests running on Visual Studio by using C#. Okay.